one dribble, across the hem.
Back to D.C., Nick. Played for the Hoyas. Resurrected his career last year. Great story with the Cavs.
Look, man, he's a 6'10" guy that's an excellent athlete and just has never put it all together.
Unfortunately, he was the second best player on the Cavs last year.
For the game 6 and 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals, he was. And what happened in those games, Celtics? I forgot.
Warriors' son Steph Curry picks Shaquille Harrison's pocket, makes him look silly.
Man, the in and out. He puts his right hand on the left side of this basketball. That's illegal right there. That's illegal.
Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, Pistol Pete, and skip to my Lou Raper Alston. That's your Mount Rushmore of handles, all-time
No
history.
problem. I like that. 3 ballers and a street baller.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nick.
Skip to my Lou made himself a little money, a little coin in the league.
Yeah, but he wasn't finishing like that in the NBA. He was finishing like that down at
Rutgers.
The Rutgers. Yeah.
Moving on to the Patriots now. Lots of questions in New England just 3 weeks ago. That'll happen when you're 1-2, coming off losses to the Jaguars and the Lions. Since then, 2 wins in a row, scoring 38 points in both games, and more importantly, back in a familiar position, tops in the AFC East. But according to quarterback Tom Brady, the Pats are just scratching the surface of their potential.
I think we're still figuring out what we're good at this point. I mean, we haven't had, everyone together for that long. Now that Josh is on the team and, all the receivers are really contributing. The tight ends are contributing, the backs. Sony missed all the training camp. So it's just kind of figuring out where we go from here. And that's, a good opportunity for us. We're 5 games into the year, and we've still got a lot of football left. And, I think we all believe our best football is ahead of us.
All right, Cece, what do you think about what Tom Brady said? Is this all about familiarity? Now this is the first time he's getting all his weapons and pieces back together, and it's just going to be sort of smooth sailing moving forward?
Yeah, Tom makes a great point. Nick and I, we talked about it since the spring. They made 28 different transactions at wide receiver. So they, like no other team, and not even like people in business, because they do things totally different. Say, for instance, a basketball player. If a guy was a good shooter in basketball, when he goes to the gym, he's going to get his shots up because that's what he does well. New England, what they do, and it's so humiliating, they put you in situations to figure out what you can't do. And they make sure that, okay, you can't do this. And then they avoid doing that during the game and have you do only the things that you do well.
Give me an example.
Philip Dorsett, he's been known as a speed guy. I coached him since he was 14 years old. He's a legitimate deep threat. Also runs a lot of reverses. That's on paper. But as a deep threat, he's really not that good at that. So what they're going to have him doing now, instead of throwing the ball deep to him, they're going to have him clearing out for guys like Edelman, clearing out for guys like Gronk, and trying to get him because he has a problem sometime when the ball is in flight. So now what they do is try to get him the ball sooner to him and make him run with the ball closer to the line of scrimmage compared to flighting the ball 30 or 40 yards down the field. Normal people, they don't look. They just look at their strengths, and they try to operate off their strengths. That's the way NFL offenses do. What do we do well? Let's keep trying to do that. New England looks at what don't you do well, what Josh doesn't do well, and it takes time to be able to figure that out. That's why they take the first 4 games as an extended training camp and all that practice time and game time to try to figure out how they're going to move forward. That's what Tom Brady was alluding to. They don't tell you that, but they try to make sure we understand ourselves better than anyone else does.
So let's use Josh Gordon for an example, okay? Only on the field stuff. How was Cleveland trying to utilize him compared to how you believe the Patriots will try to utilize him?
They actually believe that he's a complete receiver, so they were trying to throw every route in the route tree.
They being Cleveland.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so when you have a featured guy, you just open up the whole route tree to him, and you don't specialize in certain routes. So you volume feed him compared to let's specifically see what he does. When Josh was spectacular in 2013, watch how many yards he had after the catch. Watch how many contested catches he had. Watch how many balls he caught close to the line of scrimmage. Those are things that he really does well. Now, is he a deep threat? Yes. When we seen him in New England, what did he do immediately? catch the ball quick.
Yep.
Quick slant stuff, because Belichick has already determined this short period of time, these are things we believe that he can add to us, and we're going to keep repeating them until he does them very well.
Do the Patriots now have all the weapons in their arsenal they wanted? They have Sonny Michel up and going again. They've got Josh Gordon in the fold in some capacity. They obviously have Edelman back. Are they almost done tweaking? They're out of that extended preseason phase. Is this the team that you think we're going to see moving forward?
I mean, we have to realize they're trying to survive, all right? Burkhead was put on injured reserve. They expected him to play a role. They like to have 3 or 4 running backs. They like to have 2 or 3 tight ends. They don't have another tight end receiver outside of Gronk. Gronk will get injured. So, no, they will make adjustments then. They're just getting Edelman back. So who do we put on the outside to be able to clear out these situations for them, to be able to run their option routes? Sonny Michel, how will his knee hold up? And every once in a while, we're going to give the ball to James White as a ball carrier, even though typically we don't like using him as a ball carrier. So they're forever evolving. And once they get other injuries, they'll try to adapt once those injuries hit their roster.
I think it's really interesting that the idea of, rather than just focusing on what a guy does well, trying to make sure you know what he can't do. And that almost, to me, unlocks the why Chris Hogan was something somewhere else and something totally different in New England. Wes Welker, Danny Amendola.
A lot of those players.
Why Cordarrelle Patterson? I'm now seeing, Cordarrelle Patterson, what he doesn't do well, it appears, is anything down the field.
Yes.
But you throw it to him almost horizontally and let him pretend it's a kick return. Now you're removing his weakness.
And how they get him deep, they baited the team, baited them, pump faked them, and then got him quick down the sideline, where he was able to then run to be able to finish off that big play that he had this year.
Why do you think more teams don't operate this way?
Because teams don't have the overall knowledge. They don't have the system that Belichick has as far as what he's going to do week in and week out. Also, coaches don't have the ability to be as patient as Bill does, because Bill is the general manager, and he has a wealth of information for guys that are in the league. Other guys, I believe they have information, but it's just not as detailed as what Bill. There are players on teams right now that Bill Belichick, he would covet their ability, because he believes once he gets them to the New England and get them in the football think tank, that he can bring out the best in them. That's what he's been able to do. That's why he's the best coach ever. His adapting to offensive football the last 10 years, man, that put him in a class all by himself as far as coaches.
We do the same thing, right? We figure out what we can't do, and we don't do those things. Should I give some examples?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'd love to hear it, Jenna Wolf.
Seinfeld trivia. We don't go to you for Seinfeld trivia. We don't curling. I don't ask you any curling questions. Okay? For me,
we don't ask you to be funny.
We're going to you're just waiting for me to stop.
The audience, they don't know who Seinfeld is. What's his name?
Seinfeld. I know who you are, buddy. Coming up, is Aaron Rodgers' injury the Packers' biggest problem?
Are they on TV or is it real?
We add to the list. We don't let Jenna improv the last 40 seconds of the segment. Let me just do a little